Ciao, bene.
Ciao.
My name is Adam Kreisel. I am the chef owner of Kai Cucina Catering and a board member of Slow Food Utah. This fabulous human next to me is my good friend, local bon vivant, and the proprietor owner of Libation Wine and Beverages, Francis Fecteau. Would you salute our guests, please? We are here today to describe to you our recommended pairings for the four-course menu offered up by Francks and Chef Robert Perkins for this year's Slow Food Feast of the Five Senses, supporting our micro grant program. Good afternoon, Francis.
I didn't know Rob Perkins was out there.
Rob Perkins is out there, and the boy is making some food. You may or may not know, his menus tend to be very esoteric. They're always very easy to receive, very comfortable, very accessible, but he uses a lot of variant flavor profiles and textures. This year's offering is no different. He's starting people off with a beet tartare. He's moving to a Walla Walla onion and burnt honey emulsion, a soup. He is following that up with a short rib dish. And he is finishing the menu with a drunken peaches and cream. But as you know, much like my cooking, Rob and I tend to frustrate you because Rob introduces a series of elements that sort of maybe take you off of the beaten path or the path that you think you're beating on.
One of the things I've always liked about talking with you is you'll call me from the wine store and we'll have these details where you use the word ergonomic a lot and we try to figure out food wine pairings.
Correct.
Somehow always figure it out.
Correct.
I understand your palate reasons.
Well, so you've done so similarly
You've got the Eurotrash palate of all time. Next to Ian Campbell elongated.
Thank you very much. You have done so then with regard to Chef Rob's menu, and why don't you tell our viewers about the pairings that you've chosen for this
Okay,
one?
will do. That honey emulsion, that Walla Walla emulsion, and cauliflower, and there was gochujang in there.
No, not on this one.
Okay.
But yes.
Who am I
but,
thinking of?
probably David
Somebody
Chon.
else. All right. Anyway, rich, savory. You've all had roasted onions, and they come across almost buttery and rich. And then I saw the peaches emulsion dessert thing. I don't recall the exact details, but they encompass a wine that covers that with, a certain aplomb. This one is fairly rich and full-bodied, and because it gets a little bit of oak and some malolactic fermentation, you're going to get more of a tropical approach to Chardonnay, richer, more full-bodied approach that's going to wrap around those onions really, really beautifully. And this will actually be good with the dessert, I'd be willing to wager, because it has a sort of peach and honey tone to it as well, because it does hit expensive French lumber, and there's a little ML going on. So I think this would actually be full-bodied enough to go with the dessert.
Savory white pairing with the dessert. I like that. That sounds cool.
Swear to God, I'm just kind of seeing it in my head, and it's like right there, and I'm going, I want to do that like right now.
Okay.
The main dish, the short rib, was it?
Yes.
Okay, molasses and what else?
Correct. Molasses glaze. There's a whole host of little tchotchkes on the plate that I won't bore our viewers with. 'Cause
Tremendous
they're gonna find
richness, savory meat, a little bit of sweet. You need a wine that's got acid, but a little bit of glycerol, a little bit of richness to sort of rise to the occasion to meet that dish. And this is a wine that's new to Utah and that's very near and dear to my heart. Antiquum Farmers is the brainchild of a guy named Stephen Hagen and a former winemaker of Soda Vineyards, Andrew Bandy Smith. This is the most extraordinary plot of land I've seen in quite some time, especially so in Oregon. Follow him on Instagram. I strongly suggest it because he sort of brings the ethos of biodynamic farming to life in that you should treat the vineyard like an ecosystem unto itself. And he literally does that, unlike any other biodynamic farm I've ever seen. And what happens is he's got geese and ducks and chickens and sheep and rabbits and ginormous heirloom pigs and sheep and goats, and I'm sure I'm leaving something out because he's got a horde of animals that he lets loose in the vineyard, and they poop and they eat and they eat and they poop and they fertilize the vineyard, and that is all that vineyard sees. So there is literally zero intervention in the vineyard, and as a result they make some of the most beautiful, sumptuous, rich Pinot Noirs. They're not quite as high toned as Willamette Valley because he's about 45 minutes south in Junction City, so it's a little warmer down there, a little higher up, but the winemaking takes my breath away. Minimal sulfur use at bottling, and that's about it. These wines are actually just genius. This one just got here, small winery priced, and it is spectacular. And it's got, usually I don't pick up a lot of deep black fruit tones in Pinot Noir, but this one gets away with it beautifully. And nobody did anything to it to get it that way. It's just a product of a really extraordinary vineyard and a really extraordinary winemaker and a really extraordinary farmer. So I think this will be a brilliant choice with Frank's dish. I think it's going to work just fine.
And Rob tends to have a lot of underlying earthy tones in his food as well, which I assume lend themselves very well to these styles of wine. Yes.
Oh God, yes. Yeah. I think the sort of expansive Chardonnay buttery richness is going to go really well with that onion dish, and I think this is going to be absolute magic with the short rib.
Fabulous. Thank you all for supporting Slow Foods Micro Grant Fund and the Feast of Five Senses. We wish you happy eating, buon appetito. Hope you have a lovely eating and enjoy your pairings and your tasting from Francks.
And thank you for supporting small wineries. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot.
Huzzah! My name is Adam Kreisel. I am the chef owner of Kaya Cucina Catering and a board member of Slow Food Utah. I am also guiding this year's Feast of Five Senses, which is our Slow Food Micro Grant Fund fundraiser. Next to me is my good friend, local bon vivant, fabulous human, and all-around nice guy, Francis Fecteau. He is the proprietor and owner of Libation Wine and Beverages, and we are here discussing this year's wine pairings with the menu being offered by Stone Ground Italian Kitchen and Chef Justin Shiflett. Hello.
Love that guy.
Justin is a fabulous human being, and he has put together a really lovely, very, I would say, traditional Italian menu to offer for this year's feast. Starting off with a smoky pork brodo. If you get the vegetarian version, it's actually a carrot brodo that goes into a peach and burrata salad, or excuse me, a peach caprese salad, followed
Do you
by.
ever see Italians eat peaches? I don't know if I've ever seen it on that stuff. It's kind of a nice Utah twist.
I personally have seen it.
All right. I believe it.
It's like seeing the jackalope. It's rare, but it happens. We have a gnocchi alla sorrentina, which is basically a baked gnocchi with a tomato-based sauce and ricotta and basil as the entree, and then a tiramisu for dessert. And Francis, you've chosen these two wines to pair because,
It sounds like Kumbha food.
well, I mean, you can say what you will about it. I say it's delicious.
Kumbha's not a bad thing.
Tell these people about the wines, will you?
All right.
Quit yelling at me.
All right. Love Stone Ground, love Italian food, and I love Italian wine. This one's new to Utah. It's Marco Filuga Pinot Grigio. This is not your grandma's Pinot Grigio. Be forewarned, there is a lot of garbage Pinot Grigio out there. A lot of garbage. This ain't that one. Now, what makes this one special? Older vines, a little bit of skin contact and fermentation, which you'll notice gives this a slightly coppery color to it, because you have to remember, Pinot Grigio is kind of a mutant cousin of Pinot Noir, and so it actually has a little, when you see the stuff on a vine, it looks like it's bruised, it looks like it's got a little bit of color to it, but when you crush it, usually most people just crush, ferment the juice, and straight away get it stainless steel, get it out the door. These guys let it sit with the skins for a bit, and so what you get is a little extra color, a little extra texture, and some extra cling to the mouth. It feels like it's sticking to the inside of your mouth in a really beautiful way. Rich, full-bodied Pinot Grigio, which is a word I never thought I'd say in Italy. Love this stuff. Brilliant wine. Just got here. It's about 20 bucks. This one, on the other hand, is my favorite for baked pasta dishes, tomato sauces, pizzas, anything like that. It's Montepulciano d'Abruzzo from La Valentina. This is super fresh, bright, high-toned. I love this stuff. It reminds me quite a bit of really good Barbera in that when you smell it, it smells ripe and rich, like you're going to get this big high alcohol bomb, but when you taste it and roll it around the palate, it's bright and happy and pretty, and it's got the acid of really good Pinot, which should be a great complement to tomato sauce because, as we know, acid plus acid makes you happy. Anyway, these are my two favorite picks for a Stone Ground. I think they're going to be brilliant.
Lovely. Pretty graceful wines, pretty graceful menu.
Graceful food. Yeah.
We're dressed with a little bit of grace
For success, as
and
it were.
panache.
Yeah.
For
Flair.
success, as it were.
Flair.
We encourage you all to treat your menu, treat your evening as a fine dining experience. Dress for success, as we have. I decided to pull out one of my best evening gowns. I see you have
And
chosen
your
to
sleeves.
wear something with a collar, and you have pants on, which is
That's
amazing.
a rarity.
We hope you all enjoy the pairings that we've chosen for you for Stone Ground's menu for Feast of the Five Senses. Have a lovely evening, buon appetito, and thank you very much for supporting the Micro Grant Fund. Cheers.